What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel, and most importantly, please make sure that you are following me on Telegram at TD Media Group to help circumvent social media censorship and shadow banning. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. And today, man, we have to talk about, as we always do, obviously, the corruption of these DNC lunatics. Like I've told you guys numerous times before in the past, and I tell people, in real life conversation, if you're going to tell me that, Democrats and Republicans, they're both corrupt, they're two sides of the same coin, so on and so forth, I'll never really give you much pushback against it. I get the sentiment, I understand where it comes from. But when I do push back, I'll just say this much. Are they both corrupt? Of course, there's corruption on both sides. But when you're talking about who is the most corrupt, without a shadow of a doubt, it is DNC lunatics, because these folks are brazenly corrupt. I'm talking about just all in your face and don't care. It is unreal how much money they steal in virtually broad daylight, and nothing ever happens. Nothing happens. Look at what I'm getting ready to read to you here. And the other thing that makes DNC lunatics so wicked is that they steal all this money. And when I say steal, obviously it's allegedly, I believe, I assume, allegedly, right? Wink, wink. We know what's really going on. But when they're allegedly stealing all this money, they do it in the name of equity and inclusion. They do it in the name of racial justice, right? They do it in the name of environmental justice. They do it in the name of all of what seems to be the kind of a benevolent, honorable task, you can say, to take up to better the world. But nothing ever changes except for the growth in their bank account. Look at this here. Joe Biden accused of dishing out $27 billion on green projects run by cronies in one of his final acts. Let's get into this article right now, because what you're going to see here as it pertains to Biden and Obama, these guys are unbelievably corrupt. Unbelievably corrupt. Let's get into this article right now. Republicans in Congress are investigating ties between a Biden-era $27 billion green fund at the Environmental Protection Agency and former Democratic staffers. The EPA's Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund, GGRF, created in 2023 after Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act passed, was responsible for doling out the billions to nonprofit organizations to help them champion climate causes, whatever that means. You got billions of dollars to champion climate causes. Okay. But here's where it gets wicked. From start to finish, the application process for the $27 billion in taxpayer-backed funds only lasted months. Many of the nonprofits that received billions in funding had been established, get this, after the application process was announced. I'm going to say that one more time. Many of the nonprofits that received billions in funding had been established after the application process was announced. That is unbelievably wicked, because once again, they're creating these nonprofits in the name of helping the world. But these are nonprofits that are literally only being created for the purposes of sucking up this money, these billions and billions of dollars in taxpayer money. Check this part out here. Republican lawmakers claim firms that were incorporated after the GGRF application process opened, and which employed staff with ties to Democrats, were granted billions without proper oversight. The Biden administration's EPA rushed through $27 billion in grants with little transparency, minimal vetting, and troubling political ties. Chairman Brian Babin of the House Science, Space, and Technology Committee claimed in a letter to Zeldin about the GGRF exclusively obtained by the Daily Mail. The American people deserve fairness and accountability in how the money is spent, especially at this scale, he wrote in a letter to Zeldin on Tuesday. We are demanding answers and pushing for real reforms to ensure this never happens again. Now, let's take a moment to look at the people who were actually receiving this money. I'm talking about billions and billions of dollars and their ties to Biden and Obama. Let's get into that next. Most of the cash went to 8 main grant recipients that were then responsible for giving out smaller loans to other nonprofits, according to a letter to Zeldin about the GGRF. However, the original legislation did not call for much oversight on the funds, and many of the awards were won by firms with ties to former President Barack Obama or Joe Biden. Many of you are probably noticing this pattern here of corruption, particularly as it pertains to Biden and Obama. As we're talking about this $27 billion, which is essentially has been stolen, in my opinion, that's what I believe. But also take into account as well as we're reading this and discussing this, it's mainly, I want to say, as it pertains to these district judges putting forth these national injunctions, blocking all of President Trump's policies that he's trying to enact. I think it's safe to say about 99% of these judges have been Obama appointed judges or Biden appointed judges. Every time you hear about these bogus national injunctions, it's always a Biden appointed or Obama appointed judge. It's completely ridiculous and absurd. Look at this here. Let's look at some of this corruption right now. They cited the example of Power Forward Communities, a group that received $2 billion, which was founded by Ari Matusik, who worked in the Obama administration from 2011 to 2014. So you have this guy that was working with Obama for all this time. All of a sudden, his nonprofit has $2 billion falling on his lap. And another thing I want to do too, I apologize before we get too deep down this rabbit hole, is understand the game that's happening here too. What did this read again at the top? Most of the cash went to 8 main grant recipients that were then responsible for giving out smaller loans to other nonprofits. Understand, those 8 main grant recipients, they knew they were getting that money at the very beginning of all of this. In my opinion, I believe, I assume they knew. How the game works is, we know we're going to get this money. You take that $27 billion and you divide it up between these 8 grant recipients. That comes out to whatever the amount that is. And then we're going to dish this out to all of these new nonprofits that were literally just formed, that are being ran by our family and friends, to which they're going to receive their cut after we've already taken our cut off the top. And then what you're going to do is that you're going to kick back some of that money to me that I just gave to you. And we all make out like bandits. This is thievery at the highest level, what we're seeing here, at the highest level. Now, once again, they cited the example of Power Forward Communities, a group that received $2 billion, which was founded by Ari Matusik, who worked with Obama's administration from 2011 to 2014. But it gets worse. Check this out. Look at this here. PFC reported just $100 in revenue in its first 4 months of operation before receiving the billions, according to nonprofit tracker Influence Watch. Obama's buddy that all of a sudden had $2 billion sitting on his lap, this bogus nonprofit that he was running only reported $100 in revenue in its first 4 months. Its first 4 months, only $100. And then on the 5th month, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Unbelievable. The corruption runs deep. And look, they don't even hide it. They don't even hide it. A spokesperson for PFC told the Daily Mail the group formed in 2023 to apply for the Inflation Reduction Act's clean energy funding. They're literally, This is why I said in the beginning of the video, DNC lunatics are 10 times more corrupt, because it's so brazen how they steal this money from the American people. It's so brazen. That's in quotes if you can't see where it says group, right? That's a quote from that nonprofit that was created by Obama's buddy that worked in his administration. He literally said, and I quote, and this isn't allegedly, and I quote, the group formed in 2023 to apply for the Inflation Reduction Act's clean energy funding. They were created specifically to get that money. They knew they were going to get that money already. They knew they were going to get it already. Look at this here. Stacey Abrams, a former Democratic Georgia gubernatorial candidate, was later brought on to nonprofit Rewiring America, a firm that was allocated $490 million under the Biden era GGRF program. Abrams, an attorney, joined Rewiring America. One of the coalition's members, in March of 2023 as a senior counsel, a spokesperson said. Abrams did not have a role at Power Forward Communities beyond her position at Rewiring America. She left Rewiring America at the end of 2024. That bank account went up a little bit. She said, I got what I came for. Time to go. Exit stage right. Exit stage right. Look at this here. Hope Enterprise Corporation was awarded approximately $94 million and was led by CEO William Bynum, who served under who? The Biden-Harris administration's presidential transition team, and was later appointed to the Department of the Treasury's Racial Equity Advocacy Committee. Hope Enterprise Corporation, awarded approximately $94 million, is led by CEO William Bynum, who served on the Biden-Harris presidential transition team and was later appointed to the Department of the Treasury's Racial Equity Advocacy Committee. What did I tell you at the beginning of this video? This is what makes DNC lunatics particularly wicked, is that though everyone may be crooked on both sides, when you're talking about this level of crookedness, it is disgusting, because they do it behind the guise of racial justice, equity, inclusion, and all these other things that, once again, they seem great on the surface, but it's all a lie. A demon coming in disguise as an angel. That's who these DNC lunatics are. That's who they are, and that's who they've always been. Recipient of $156 million is led by CEO Michelle Moore, who served as President Obama's chief sustainability officer and a Biden appointed board member of the Tennessee Valley Authority. The Republican lawmakers' letter went on. These improper relationships between federal agencies and grant recipients reinforce concerns that considerations other than merit influence the selection process. The EPA is now working to claw back cash given out in the last days of the Democrat administration. But since the officials sent billions out of federal coffers to a Citibank account, get this, it is already out the door. The money's gone already, ladies and gentlemen. It's gone already. It's gone. That 27 billion, kiss it goodbye. DNC ran off with it like thieves in the night. So once again, I'm not interested in that. Like I said at the top of the video, I ended with this. I get it, the whole both side things. Oh, they're both corrupt. I understand when people say that to me. People, because I'm a Trump supporter and whatnot. You all know how I am with Trump. they love to tell me, oh, you know, you always get on Democrats, but they're both corrupt. Both sides are corrupt. I get you to a degree, yes. Okay. Won't push back too much. But when it comes to these DNC lunatics, come on, man. Nobody can tell me that no one is more wicked than these guys. No one. And with all that being said, man, that does it for today's news. So please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. Share this video on your social media platforms. And also do not forget to follow me on Telegram at TD Media Group. The link to my Telegram is in the description box below and pinned in the comment section as well. Thank you all for your time. Until the next video, peace and have a great afternoon.